The Sixers bounce back, win 2 in a row.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started today. Today we got a lot to talk about. Co-host Keith Pompey, John Mitchell isn't with us this morning. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow morning. But right now, like I said, we got a lot to talk about. The Sixers won last night, and it was a pretty good win. They won last night. Yesterday afternoon, they defeated the Dallas Mavericks 120-116. The Sixers have improved to 2-0 since inserting Kyle Lowry and Mo Bamba in the starting lineup, right? Tobias Harris. This was Tobias Harris' second solid game after having, a 7-game scoring slump, right? And then you have Paul Reed being a beast off the bench, right? So there's a lot of great storylines. And then the thing about this one, the Dallas Mavericks are a quality team. I mean, they have Luka Doncic, who's going to be the scoring champion. I mean, it's crazy part. In this loss, he had 38, 11, and 10, right? 38 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists, and they still lost. Kyrie had 28 points. Now, those two are regarded, I think, the best backcourt in the league, in my opinion, is the Boston Celtics, just because of what they do for the team in regards to Derek White and Drew Holiday. But as far as, star quality, as far as, all-stars, all this other stuff, Mavericks, right, is Luka Doncic, right? First team All-NBA. I'm putting it out there right now. He and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are going to be first teams All-NBA. Luka, Kyrie Irving. I mean, Kyrie was lethal. But to me, this was a quality win just because of the Sixers, because of what they showed that they could do, right? It was the way the game started was they went down 11-0. Guys were hitting wide open threes. Nick Nurse calls a timeout around 2 minutes and 13 seconds into the game. Next thing you know, the Sixers come out there and they ended up leading 32-22 at the end of the first quarter. So basically, what that's telling me is they outscored the other team 32-11, right? I believe they hit, they was 3 for 13 the rest of that quarter. No, 3 for 17 the rest of that quarter, talking about Dallas shooting wise. But also, Tyrese Maxey carried them early. Tyrese Maxey had 17 of his 24 points in that first quarter. I mean, Tyrese was balling. He did whatever he could, right? He's 17 of 24. And then the thing about it is after that, he kind of handed the baton to Tobias Harris, who had 12 points in the second quarter, ended up with a team-high 28 points, right? And then Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre had 21 points for that game, right? So, that's what happened. Now, the thing is, Nico Batum, I mean, they got all-around quality performance. Nico Batum had 7 points. He had a team-high 11 rebounds. He had a game-high 3 steals. And he closed out the game as a small ball center. So they had a lot of good things that happened on that night. Now, the one thing that I will tell y'all, and they basically survived the scare, right? Tyrese Maxey went down, and it was one of those things where Tyrese was having a phenomenal game. It was the third quarter. It was like around 4 minutes left in the game, right? And all of a sudden, Tyrese was like driving the lane. He fell to the floor and was inadvertently struck in the back of the head with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Maxi rolled around for a few minutes in pain before getting up and walking to the Sixers bench. Moments later, Maxi, his father, and the medical staff from both teams went to a room where he was evaluated. After being assessed by the Mavs doctors, Maxi was cleared to play and resume action at the start of the fourth quarter, right? So I asked him what happened. He said he was moving too fast and slipped on a play, causing the incident. I asked if he was scared. He jokingly responded, "I ain't never scared." And for some of y'all hip hop heads, that's a lyric from Bone Crusher's hit song, "Never Scared." So, he had some fun with it. But the thing is that he pointed out that he said this. I will say this: when I did hit my head, I saw my twin nieces. Right? They were up. They were up like, "Boy, you better get up and you better be okay, or we're coming down there." So it was some laughter, some joking, and everything like that. And the fun thing about it is this was a great moment for Tyrese. Tyrese, the Sixers arrived in Dallas Saturday afternoon, and from Philly. And what they did is they drove over to Buddy Hield's house to have a practice. Yes, at the player's house. Believe me, it was a nice gym, nice home, right? So they go to his house for practice. After practice, everybody else hops on the team buses and they're heading back to the team hotel. Not Tyrese. Nah, brother man, like hopped in the Uber and went to his mom's house. People know Tyrese is from Garland, Texas. So he says mom had a lot of people over there. They were playing cards. They ate. There was family members and friends that he hadn't seen for a while. People who he texted, and they pray for him. They do all types of great things for him. And it was a nice family affair for him. He said he left around 11:30 that night, giving people a lot of hugs and it was just it was a great night for him, great weekend. But that scare, was a little nervous for me looking at it, like, oh, here they go again, another Sixer guy going down. What's going on with this team? For his family, more importantly, for his team, everyone. So it was good to see Tyrese get up. It was good to see him have a great performance. But the thing about that stood out to me the most was his maturation. They kept blitzing him. And instead of him dribbling through it, doing all types of other things, what Tyrese did is he kept trying to get teammates involved. He would get rid of the ball quickly. And that enabled Tobias and Kelly to have solid games. I mean, seriously, he made heady play after heady play. I mean, you think about it. I mean, he scored in the second half. He scored 5 points. All of them came from the foul line. He only attempted 2 shots in the second half. He missed both of them, but he only attempted 2. But it was clutch, went to the foul line. I mean, so heads up to Tyrese for playing that way. He played smart. He played, he played well. I mean, he had a solid game for Tyrese Maxey. One that I'm pretty sure, Sixers fans like, that the coaching staff loves. That's the sign of a mature player, where you don't try to force things. You just try to get your teammates involved. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't force anything. He got his teammates involved. And this is the result. I mean, great win on the road. Tobias got off Kelly got off. You know, it was just everybody left happy because this guy wasn't forcing things, and that's a sign of a leader. It is a sign of a leader, and I keep saying it. You know, I like the fact that they have Kyle Lowry to help them here. I think Kyle's a better pure point guard, right? That's not a for debate. It's a fact. He is. I shouldn't say I think is a fact. But with Kyle being there is going to help him out to be that, but also show him more leadership. You know, it's going to help Tyrese out tremendously, right? FanDuel. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sport book. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now is also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free TV channel app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now and available on the free Fire TV channel app. Now, the thing is, the Sixers had some quality team bonding. You know, before, like I said, when they arrived, they went over they went over Buddy Hield's house and had a practice. It was a practice / walkthrough. Like, they got up some shots, they worked on some things, and then they went over the game and had a walkthrough. But it was weird because I was in the locker room after the game on Friday against the Cavs, Sixers won. And so I say to the PR people, I say, so what time is practice tomorrow? And they're like, it's going to be at maybe 5 o'clock at Buddy's house. I'm like, so I'm like, they're thinking it's a joke. So they're like, no, it's not a joke. It's real. We're practicing at Buddy Hield's house. I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow. And they're like, in Dallas. I'm like, wow. Okay. So then you hear that what happened is he used to practice. Well, take that back. The Indiana Pacers, whenever they would come to Dallas and they would play the Mavericks, the Indiana Pacers would hold practice or shoot around at Buddy's house, right? So that's what happened. So the Sixers did the same thing. So you go there, right? And I'm like, I'm driving, and they give me the direction. give me the address and this and that. And, you know, practice got pushed up because, you know, it was, you know, shoot around, whatever, you know, practice. So they go there. So I roll up and I'm like, okay, now something tells me, believe it. I knew this is weird because it's a residential neighborhood, nice neighborhood, as you can imagine. But I'm thinking to myself, like, I am not going to see 3 team buses, like, you know, these big buses parked outside of a house in a residential neighborhood. I'm just not going to see it. Lo and behold, I roll up and right outside the house, it's 3 buses. You got security outside. You have like the bus drivers standing outside, and I'm like, and I get out the Uber and I'm like, oh my God. So then I walk in and that's when I see, you know, people just sitting there waiting. more security. And I'm like, Lord. So we go up in there after practice, and I'm like, see guys shooting around. I see Kelly Oubre over on the swing in the courtyard, but like the swing was on top of like a water, like a little pool area. It was really nice. And you see Paul Reed sitting on like a trampoline, chilling. You see other people just laughing it up, busting it up, and then certain guys getting in there trying to get up some more shots. And I'm like, wow. So it was nice, but you know, Buddy, and I asked him about doing that. He said this is a great way for like team bonding, and you know, why not have guys over his house? You know, so they had a good time, a really good time. And the thing is, they got a real workout, and his gym is nice. I'm telling you, his gym was nice. It's kind of like it's weird because I want to call it, you know, his residence is like two buildings. Like one is the house, and then there's a courtyard, and then there's the gym area, weight room, gym, everything. Like a weight room when you go in there, and then a big basketball court. Now, you know, it's like a big court. And then you see like paint pictures of everything from him, like at his stops in the NBA, Oklahoma. People forget he was the man at Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma. So you have all that stuff to look at. So it was fun to look at. It was fun to watch. It was a good experience. You know, the team media people were in there for like taking videos and photos and interviewing Buddy. They did like a little welcome to my crib type of stuff. So everything was good. It was quality practice. It was just a great experience. But the thing is, that's when Kelly Oubre said that he was going to play the next day. The same with KJ Martin. You know, Kelly had a sore right shoulder. He said he messed up his AC joint a couple games ago, but he just kept playing with it, playing through it. And that kind of explains his poor play. So he decided that it's best for him to rest the game. Now, KJ twisted his ankle a couple games prior. But it was one of those things where for him, it was just he wanted to keep playing, but he wasn't clear, but he kept trying to play. So it just, yesterday was the first day that they felt good for him to play and to do things like that. So it all worked out for him. So you know that was good. That was good for for KJ Martin and ended up being a great thing for the Sixers. So it was a lot for them to feel happy with. It was just a good time. Plus, now the thing that stood out to me is yesterday was we talked about it a little bit, but it was Tobias Harris. You know, Tobias Harris has been balling as of late. I mean, really balling, been playing extremely well. Yesterday he had 11 to 19 shooting. He was 3 for 6 on threes. He made 3 or 4 foul shots. He had 5 rebounds. He had 1 assist. He had 1 steal. He was a plus 10. Now, the guy who was the best player on the floor in regards to plus minus was B-ball Paul Reed. You know, Paul had 13 points on 5 for 6 shooting. He had 7 rebounds, right? He had 3 assists. He had 1 steal, 1 block, and he was a plus 14. So Paul was balling as well, B-ball, right? And it's funny because I feel like, and I said this after the last game, he looks so much better coming off the bench. He does. And, Tyrese broke it down, said, that's a role that he's used to. And that's a role that they're going to need him to have when big fella comes back, when Embiid comes back. So, there is a lot of optimism, a lot of things going on, but seems like they're starting to get everything turned around. And the fact that they did bring them all back off the bench, is good on twofold, because it's telling you that Embiid is maybe is definitely coming back, and they need to get him reacclimated to his role. And secondly, I mean, let's face it, it's how they get the best out of him. So that's what they need. They need to continue for him to excel. They need to continue to get the best out of him. And you don't always have to start, in my opinion, to be the man. And he was the man yesterday. So that's all that matters, right? PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. We are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in, right? Right? So if it's demon time on PrizePicks, you can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Demons and Goblins are the newest and most exciting way to play at PrizePicks. Squares marked with red demons and green goblins get you different payouts. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. Players and stat types are selected, highlighting your winnings from PrizePicks. How fun and simple the experience is for playing the game, right? And what you need to do is to do this and to do it the right way and to have fun, right? You go to prizepicks.com, locked on, and use the code locked on NBA, right? For the first deposit match up to $100. So again, go to prizepicks.com/lockedonnba and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Do it today, people. I'm telling you. Definitely do it today. You will not. I'm telling you, you will not regret this. I mean, it's fun, it's easy, it's a lot to do. You will not regret it. I'm just telling you, you won't. Now, from here, the Sixers, they're about to head over to last night. They had a team dinner. Instead of flying to New York, they're going to fly to New York this morning. And then they were going to have a practice today, and they canceled their practice in New York. So it's going to be a chill off day, relaxing. And then they have the Brooklyn Nets. It's a game that they should win. The only crazy part about this is, like, with the Sixers, is always like when you say they should, is when they lose. And when you think they're going to get destroyed is when they win, right? So we'll see. But if they can go into, if they can get a 3-game winning streak after all they've been through, I think that's great. I think it's also good that, Kyle Lowry has been a huge lift for this team. A major lift. I mean, a guy yesterday, shot 1 for 9, but he had 8 points because he was 5 for 5 from the foul line, right? He had a team high 7 assists. I mean, his imprint was all over the game, and that's what they need from him. They need from him to keep his imprint on the game, and he did that, right? You look at. Let's talk about Kelly. Like I said, Kelly had 21 points. He shot 7 for 17. He was 1 for 7 on 3, so he really didn't make him a lot. Like Nick Batum, we talked about his 7 points, 11 rebounds. He only made 2 of 8 shots, but, he was rolling. Buddy Hield, I didn't talk much about him, but he shot 4 for 7, 3 for 8 on threes. He had 11 points. He had 4 assists. He had 1 steal, 1 block, right? So, it was a good overall effort by this team. I mean, they're showing you that they're starting to get things together. They just played well. They did. And again, you could look at the Mavericks. You could say, I mean, there were certain people who were texting me on Twitter like, man, the Mavericks are horrible. The Mavericks are awful. Well, they do have a guy in Luka who had 38, 11, and 10, like I said. Now, he did have 7 turnovers, but he had 38, 11, and 10. And the Mavs scored 40 points in the fourth quarter. The Sixers went to that small ball lineup, and they did what they could, and they were able to hold off and win. So, it was one of those things. But I'm here to tell you, the Sixers, these are 2 quality wins for them. I mean, the Charlotte win, I get it. Charlotte has the 3rd worst record in the Eastern Conference. But at the same time, they've been playing a little bit better basketball. This team, the Mavs, you can say what you want. They got a winning record, 34-27. So this was a quality win for a Sixers team that was struggling mightily, right? So good victory, something that they could build off, and we'll see how it goes from there. But Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channel app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now, available on the free Fire TV app, right? Do it today, people. Definitely do it today. And also, I want y'all to know that thanks for listening to Locked On 76ers, making it your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. I mean, every day. So come to us, listen, and I'll be back to chat with y'all tomorrow. Peace.